So instead of a new agent coming out with the end of an act, it's going to come out mid-act, most likely to coincide with Masters happening in Madrid. Now, with that being said, we actually got a lot more information than I expected on what the next agent is going to do.
Here to talk about the next agent of 2024. Many of you get into game as a solo or duo player. Maybe some of you have amazing aim like 10s.
I literally will just kill him.
But understand the strategic needs of the broader team comp, which leads you to playing a controller. And you end up sitting on the back line, providing utility for the rest of the team to make plays off of. You want to take on fights with them, but can't from the back. It was this conundrum that we thought about when creating Agent 25.
So, I mean, that makes it as clear as possible. People who are forced into controller instead of willingly wanting to main one, strategically playing in the back line, will now have an agent that they want to gravitate towards, meaning an aggressive controller player who will encourage fighting. And yes, you might go in and die, and Riot even mentioned that as well.
Y'all are mischievous risk takers. Players who know how to play the map while always pursuing favorable fights. But when you jump into a Wii fray and inevitably lose some of those fights, you'll leave your team with no smokes and limited options. Some may call you daft for playing on the front line as a controller, but we think it will lead to beautiful moments. We look forward to seeing what you think of Agent 25 during the release later this month, when dropping smokes takes on a new life.
This tells us so much. I think, maybe I'm just speculating beyond belief, but in the background you're watching Raven Valorant's video, so huge shout out to them. They're just dissecting an Omen picture. If we look closely at it, here's the thing. So I think it is going to be a female, and Omen's the front line. I think it's going to be something reminiscent of how Omen is portrayed, but to do with butterflies instead, since final quote was, "When dropping smokes takes a new life." And I think that alone says a lot when it comes to what we can expect. I'm thinking, so Riot wants you to play really aggressive, and here's where my imagination is going, and I just want to throw it out there, because what if I'm right? That'd be really cool. What if I'm right? What if it is an agent who can deploy smokes, but those smokes can be triggered by your teammates? So for example, how Astra throws down stars, but now your teammates can trigger those smokes by maybe getting near them and interacting with them. Think of like a door switch. Or maybe that's limited to after you die because it takes on a new life. Or maybe when you die, all smokes just instantly get deployed where you put them. I don't think that's the best for timing, but something like that. It has to be something where you can control where smokes goes, but there is some way for them to either deploy, like, I can't say after you die because, you know, you'd be expected to be spectating, unless you legit have some sort of afterlife UI that allows you to still deploy your smokes, which would be kind of insane. But I mean, we've seen Astra, we've seen ISO drag us into a new dimension, we've seen Deadlock literally cocoon us like we're freaking butterflies. Like, there is... butterflies. Anyways, there's a lot. Like, Riot is willing to take big risks when it comes to their agent, and it is the one thing I still really love about Valorant, and I praise them for. Their creativity is still there when it comes to new agents, and it is still one of the most exciting things when it comes to Valorant, new agent releases. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking some sort of smokes that you can deploy in the afterlife. Furthermore, I also believe that this agent will have a teleportation, and maybe even their own blind. I definitely see something like Omen happening here, just because Omen is probably one of the only, I think the only properly aggressive controller. But from a tactical point of view, yes, going in early and dying and losing out on smokes for your team is detrimental, especially considering they're rechargeable. I believe that they're going to fix that with some sort of new system that we've never seen before, something really incredible, fingers crossed, while still allowing you to teleport around and blind people. That's what I'm thinking, just because if you're going to be aggressive, you have to have a chance to teleport and most likely blind in order to swing, or if it's not a blind, maybe a stun. That could also work. And of course, everything themed around butterflies, right? When you teleport, maybe you dissolve into butterflies and move forward. Maybe there's just a dismiss key. I always wanted an agent who can dismiss like Reyna, but with the press of a button, you only get one of it and it costs a lot or something like that. That could also be something like the ultimate. But that makes it more like Yoru. But you kind of get the idea here. When you just think of like butterflies, bright, vibrant, new system in the afterlife, and being aggressive as a controller, I think as a community, a lot of us are going to get excited. I'm excited. But of course, let me know what you think down below.